It was an ordinary day like any other. I awoke in my cozy bed, my husband, David, sound asleep beside me. He typically slumbers a bit longer, so I decided to get a head start and make breakfast for us. We had plans to visit his parents for his dad's birthday, a journey that lay ahead of us. As I set out to prepare a stack of pancakes to fuel our adventure, I discovered that we had run out of milk. We usually keep a spare in the basement fridge, so I descended the stairs to fetch it. That's when it happened, a slip, a sudden impact, and a throbbing sensation in my head. But I wasn't seriously hurt. I retrieved the milk and ascended the stairs. I prepared the pancakes, set the table, and called out to David, expecting him to join me eagerly. But there was no response. David's absence puzzled me. He adored pancakes. I called out to him again, but it seemed like he had vanished into thin air. His keys still rested in the bowl by the door, his shoes neatly arranged on the rack, and his slippers were untouched by the bed. Something was amiss. With growing concern, I searched for David throughout the house, bathroom, garage, spare room, and the garden. Yet, he remained elusive. The bed showed no sign of disturbance. It was as if he had never been under those covers. I frantically called him, texted him, and reached out to our families and his closest friends, but there was no response from anyone. Panic began to set in, and I made the agonizing decision to contact the police. As I dialed their number, the phone rang incessantly. Thinking it might be a network issue, I tried the landline, but that too failed to connect to anyone. In my growing desperation, I raced to my neighbor's house in my dressing gown, hoping they had seen or heard from David. The Green's house was silent, and the Fuller's house offered no response to my urgent knocking. I peered through their window to find a breakfast table set for their children, but no signs of life. Something was terribly wrong. With my fear intensifying, I hurried to the Cornish's house, only to find the front door wide open. Car keys and a shoulder bag lay abandoned, as though someone was about to leave but had inexplicably vanished. Inside, the house was deserted, just like all the others. My calls to them went unanswered as well. With my world unraveling, I retreated to the street and sat on the pavement, attempting to make sense of the inexplicable situation. It became evident that an eerie silence had settled over the world, a stillness that extended beyond the absence of people to include a lack of insects, birds, and even planes. It felt as though I was the sole remaining inhabitant of a halted universe. Several hours passed in a state of existential dread before I finally regained some composure. It was clear that something extraordinary had occurred, and I needed to unravel the mystery. When even the police station proved to be deserted, I decided to set out in search of answers, although I was filled with trepidation. As I drove through town, the true extent of the crisis became evident. Abandoned cars lined the roads, some with open doors and belongings scattered about, while others had collided with walls, fences, and lampposts. It was a scene of chaos, yet devoid of blood, bodies, or any sign of emergency response. Arriving at the police station, my worst fears were confirmed. It stood empty, much like the rest of the town, as if everyone had inexplicably ceased to exist mid-task. Without David to guide me through crises, I was overwhelmed by a sense of helplessness. I decided to leave town and continued driving, passing through multiple deserted towns, cities, and villages, desperately seeking any signs of life. But my search yielded nothing. I couldn't comprehend why I had been spared or why I was the only one left behind. 1 week had passed since the inexplicable events began, and the sinister feeling that had first gripped me in the supermarket persisted. It was as if a malevolent presence was watching and tracking my every move, growing stronger when I stopped and abating only when I continued driving. The sense of being pursued was inescapable, and it filled me with dread. If anyone is out there, if anyone can read this, please reach out to me. I'm not sure why I was spared from whatever calamity befell our world, but I need help. There's an ominous force at play, and it's watching, waiting, and perhaps even hunting. The world as I knew it has vanished, and I'm left alone in this nightmare. I'm sharing this account of my experience in the hope that someone, somewhere, can provide answers or, at the very least, companionship. As I continue to drive through these empty, lifeless towns and cities, the feeling of isolation becomes increasingly unbearable. I can't escape the question, why me? Why was I spared from whatever fate befell everyone else? Is it a test, a punishment, or merely a cruel twist of fate? The relentless silence is deafening, and the haunting presence that watches my every move is unshakable. In my quest to unravel this enigma, I've stumbled upon empty homes, vacant cars, and deserted streets, and I can't help but wonder if there are others out there like me. If you're reading this, if you've also been left behind, please reach out. Together, we might find a way to confront this inexplicable horror and discover the truth behind our world's strange, silent emptiness. I've scoured libraries, searched online, and even attempted to contact any remaining radio stations, but all my efforts have been in vain. It's as if the world's entire population has vanished, leaving no trace of their existence. The silence has become a constant companion, an eerie reminder of the solitude I now endure. The days blend together as I traverse these abandoned landscapes. The eerie feeling of being watched persists, and my sense of dread only intensifies. I wonder if there's a way to reverse this unnatural occurrence, to bring back life to the world I once knew. I can't help but recall the moment I slipped on the stairs and hit my head, an incident that marked the beginning of this unending nightmare. Could it be that the fall somehow spared me from whatever befell the rest of humanity? Or is it merely a coincidence, a cruel twist of fate that has made me the last living soul in a world gone silent? My fear continues to grow, but so does my determination to uncover the truth. If there's anyone else out there, if you're reading this, please respond. We must join forces to confront the darkness that surrounds us, to understand what has transpired, and to find a way to bring back the world we once knew. As I drive on through these empty towns, I hold on to the hope that somewhere, someone else is out there, just like me, seeking answers and yearning for human connection. We may be the last survivors of a world that has fallen silent, but we are not alone in our search for the truth. If you can hear my plea, if you're experiencing the same haunting presence, or if you have any insights into what has occurred, please reach out. Together, we can unravel this mysterious enigma and perhaps find a way to restore life to our quiet, desolate world. I will continue my journey, persistent in my quest to understand the inexplicable and unmask the force that has left me isolated in this eerie silence. But I hope that my efforts will not be in vain and that someone, somewhere, will come forward to offer a glimmer of hope in this enduring nightmare.